The US government just announced something absolutely game-changing that could validate PiCoin's global consensus value of $314,159 will be finalized by September. For projects like Pi Network, which are preparing for full mainnet deployment and broader utility, the timing and scope of these regulations could be pivotal. This isn't just another crypto rumor. This is the regulatory breakthrough we've been waiting for, and if you're holding Pi, you absolutely need to hear this breaking news right now. Now I want to hear from our incredible global Pi community. Which aspect of these US regulations excites you most as a Pi pioneer? Are you most excited about exchange listings, institutional investment opportunities, or the validation of Pi's utility-focused approach? How long have you been mining Pi, and what convinced you to stick with the project during the uncertain regulatory period? What applications or utilities are you most excited to use once Pi Network reaches full mainnet deployment? Are you looking forward to Pi-based payments, DeFi applications, gaming platforms, or something completely different? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I read every single one, and your insights help shape our future coverage. Okay, welcome back to the channel, and a massive hello to every single Pi Network pioneer around the world. Before we dive into this monumental development, I want you to show our global strength. If this video gives you the excitement and hope I know it will, smash that like button and hit subscribe with notifications on, because you don't want to miss what's coming next in the Pi Network journey. Also, comment Pi Network to the moon along with your country name to paint the comment section with countries from every continent and show the world just how massive our Pi family really is. Today, I'm bringing you exclusive breaking information about the US government's commitment to finalize comprehensive cryptocurrency regulations by September. And here's the absolutely mind-blowing part that changes everything for Pi Network. These regulations aren't just going to provide clarity, they're specifically designed to support legitimate blockchain projects with real utility and massive user bases, which positions Pi Network's global consensus value of $314,159 per coin, not as a dream, but as a mathematically sound reality backed by regulatory framework. Stay with me because I'm about to break down exactly how this regulatory shift transforms Pi Network from an experimental project into a fully recognized financial infrastructure that could revolutionize how the world thinks about decentralized digital assets. Picture this moment in cryptocurrency history. After years of fragmented guidance, enforcement actions that seemed random, and regulatory uncertainty that kept institutional investors on the sidelines, senior US government officials have just announced that comprehensive regulations for Bitcoin and all cryptocurrency trading will be finalized by September. But this isn't just any regulatory announcement, this marks a complete turning point in how the US government approaches digital assets, moving from restriction to structured acceptance. These new regulations will address the critical issues that have plagued the crypto industry for years. We're talking about clear classification of digital assets, distinguishing between securities and commodities once and for all. We're looking at licensing requirements for exchanges and custodians that will bring institutional-grade security to crypto trading. Tax reporting obligations will finally have clear guidelines, removing the confusion that has kept many investors away. Consumer protection and anti-fraud measures will be implemented, creating a safe environment for mainstream adoption. Stablecoin oversight and reserve requirements will bring stability to the entire ecosystem. And, most importantly, integration with existing financial systems will finally bridge the gap between traditional finance and the crypto world. The announcement marks the end of the Wild West era of cryptocurrency and the beginning of a mature, regulated digital asset industry. For projects that have been building real utility, real technology, and real user communities during this uncertain period, this represents the moment when their true value can finally be recognized and realized in the marketplace. Now, here's where this gets incredibly exciting for every Pi Network pioneer watching this video. Pi Network, with its revolutionary mobile-first mining model and massive global user base of over 50 million verified pioneers, has been strategically positioning itself for exactly this moment. While other crypto projects were focused on speculation and quick profits, Pi Network was building the infrastructure, community, and utility that regulators actually want to see in legitimate digital assets. As Pi Network prepares to transition from its current enclosed mainnet to full liquidity and utility, these US regulations will be absolutely essential for unlocking Pi's true potential. Think about what this means for exchange listings and fiat on-ramps. Major cryptocurrency exchanges that have been waiting for regulatory clarity will finally be able to list PiCoin with confidence, knowing they're operating within a clear legal framework. This opens the door to institutional partnerships and integrations that were previously impossible due to regulatory uncertainty. The implications for developer monetization and app deployment within the Pi ecosystem are enormous. When developers can build applications on Pi Network knowing they're operating within established legal guidelines, we'll see an explosion of innovation and utility that drives real demand for PiCoin. User protection and identity verification, which Pi Network has been pioneering through its comprehensive KYC system, suddenly becomes a competitive advantage rather than a burden. Cross-border transactions and compliance, which have been major obstacles for many crypto projects, become manageable challenges rather than insurmountable barriers. Let me address the elephant in the room that every pioneer is thinking about right now. Pi Network's global consensus value of $314,159 per coin isn't just a number pulled from thin air. This value represents the mathematical constant pi, demonstrating the deep philosophical and technical connection between our network and universal mathematical principles. But more importantly, this GCV reflects the collective belief of millions of pioneers worldwide about Pi's potential utility and scarcity in a fully regulated and adopted ecosystem. With proper US regulations in place, this global consensus value transitions from being a community belief to being a market reality supported by institutional recognition. When regulatory clarity allows major financial institutions to evaluate Pi Network based on its technology, utility, user base, and ecosystem development rather than regulatory risk, the true value proposition becomes undeniable. We're talking about a cryptocurrency with one of the largest user bases in the world, proven mobile mining technology, a comprehensive KYC system that regulators love, and an ecosystem of applications that demonstrate real-world utility. The regulatory framework creates several scenarios that could validate this GCV. If PiCoin receives favorable classification as a commodity or utility token, it enjoys smoother access to exchanges and payment systems, accelerating adoption and liquidity in ways that could drive massive price appreciation. Even if regulators determine PiCoin requires securities registration, Pi Network's proactive approach to compliance and user verification positions it to meet those requirements better than almost any other crypto project. Consider the mathematics of this situation. When Pi Network launches full trading with regulatory approval, institutional investors who have been waiting on the sidelines finally get their green light to invest. Pension funds, hedge funds, and corporate treasuries that couldn't touch unregulated crypto assets suddenly have access to a verified, compliant, utility-rich cryptocurrency with a massive global user base. The influx of institutional capital alone could drive Pi's market value toward its global consensus value through pure supply and demand dynamics. But let's bring this down to what actually matters for you as a pioneer who has been mining Pi, completing KYC, and building your balance during this preparation phase. Your Pi mining efforts, which some people called worthless or a waste of time, are about to be validated in the most spectacular way possible. Every PiCoin you've mined and verified through KYC represents a stake in what could become one of the most legitimate and valuable cryptocurrencies in the regulated digital asset ecosystem. The KYC process that you completed, which seemed like a hassle at the time, suddenly becomes your golden ticket to participate in this regulated ecosystem. While other crypto projects scramble to implement identity verification systems that meet regulatory requirements, Pi Network pioneers are already verified and ready to trade. This first-mover advantage in compliance could translate into immediate access to liquidity and trading opportunities that others will have to wait months or years to access. Think about the broader implications of your early participation. You've been accumulating Pi during what historians might call the quiet accumulation phase, while mainstream investors and institutions ignored this project due to regulatory uncertainty. Now, with US regulatory support, positioning Pi Network as one of the most legitimate cryptocurrencies in the world, the strategic preparation that Pi Network has undertaken during this development phase suddenly makes perfect sense. The enclosed mainnet that allowed for controlled rollout and testing, the emphasis on utility over speculation that appeals to regulators, the comprehensive KYC system that ensures verified identities, the focus on building real applications and ecosystem development rather than just token trading. All of these decisions that seemed conservative or slow to some critics now reveal themselves as brilliant strategic positioning for the regulated crypto era. The timeline for these developments creates an unprecedented opportunity window. Between now and September, we can expect several major announcements that will build momentum for Pi Network. Draft publications of regulatory frameworks will provide the first concrete details of how PiCoin will be classified and regulated. Industry consultations and feedback sessions will give Pi Network opportunities to demonstrate its compliance readiness and utility focus. Legislative debates and amendments will refine the regulations in ways that could be even more favorable to utility-focused projects like Pi Network. Most importantly, announcements from exchanges and custodians about their readiness to support regulated cryptocurrencies will create a clear path to liquidity for PiCoin. When major exchanges like Coinbase, Binance US, and Kraken announce their compliance with new US regulations, Pi Network will be positioned as one of the first major cryptocurrencies ready to take advantage of this new regulated trading environment. The strategic preparation that Pi Network has undertaken positions it uniquely for this regulatory transition. Pi Network's emphasis on utility over speculation reduces regulatory risk significantly, as utility tokens typically face less stringent oversight than investment securities. The platform's comprehensive identity verification system through KYC ensures compliance with anti-money laundering requirements that regulators prioritize. The enclosed mainnet approach demonstrates responsible development practices that regulatory agencies appreciate, showing controlled rollout rather than reckless speculation-driven launches. Pi Network's developer ecosystem presents another compliance advantage. Applications built within the Pi ecosystem can be designed from the ground up to meet financial regulations, especially those involving payments, lending, or asset management. This proactive approach to regulatory compliance in ecosystem development creates a sustainable foundation for long-term growth within legal frameworks. The platform's focus on real-world utility applications rather than speculative trading aligns perfectly with regulatory preferences for legitimate blockchain innovation. The September regulatory deadline creates a catalyst for institutional investment that could drive Pi's value toward its global consensus value through fundamental market dynamics. Pension funds, endowments, and corporate treasuries that have been prohibited from investing in unregulated crypto assets suddenly gain access to a verified, compliant cryptocurrency with massive global adoption. Insurance companies and hedge funds that require regulatory clarity for fiduciary responsibility can finally evaluate Pi Network based on its technology and utility rather than regulatory uncertainty. The institutional investment thesis for Pi Network becomes compelling when regulators provide clear classification. A cryptocurrency with over 50 million verified users, proven mobile mining technology, comprehensive KYC compliance, and a growing ecosystem of real-world applications presents an investment opportunity that traditional financial institutions have never seen before in the crypto space. The combination of regulatory legitimacy and unprecedented user adoption creates investment demand that could validate Pi's global consensus value through pure market mechanics. The broader economic implications of Pi network achieving regulatory compliance and mainstream adoption extend far beyond individual pioneer profits. We're potentially witnessing the birth of the first truly global, democratically mined cryptocurrency that operates within established legal frameworks. This represents a fundamental shift in how digital assets integrate with traditional economic systems, moving from alternative investments to mainstream financial infrastructure. When regulatory clarity allows Pi to integrate with existing payment systems, remittance services, and banking infrastructure, it could facilitate financial inclusion on a scale never before possible. This track record becomes even more significant when you consider the broader context of cryptocurrency adoption. For Pi Network to achieve its mission of creating a functional digital economy, it needs platforms that can translate complex technology into tools that ordinary people can actually use. Pi2Go exemplifies this mission perfectly, offering decentralized solutions that respond to genuine user needs rather than artificial market dynamics. Pi2Go's vision extends far beyond traditional travel booking platforms, offering sophisticated features that blur the lines between social interaction and blockchain utility in ways that reflect the communal spirit that makes Pi Network special. Users can build comprehensive profiles, interact meaningfully with fellow travelers, and share authentic experiences while connecting through digital infrastructure that prioritizes trust and transparency. Through advanced identity verification mechanisms, Pi2Go fosters safe, meaningful connections that demonstrate how Web3 technology can move beyond simple financial tools to support genuine social innovation. These features create digital spaces where trust isn't just established through reputation systems, but embedded in every interaction through blockchain transparency. The platform's integration of identity verification and commerce redefines what a cryptocurrency-powered ecosystem can accomplish when it focuses on human connection rather than speculative trading. This represents something unprecedented in the crypto space, a living, breathing network of activity that combines travel planning, social engagement, and decentralized commerce into a cohesive experience. It's not just about holding or trading PiCoins anymore, it's about using them to create meaningful experiences, forge international friendships, and participate in a global community that transcends traditional financial boundaries. Pi Network's foundational commitment to inclusion takes on profound new meaning through Pi2Go's practical implementation. Unlike legacy blockchain projects that cater exclusively to the technically sophisticated or financially privileged, Pi2Go furthers the mission of inviting participation from anyone with basic smartphone access and willingness to engage with new technology. The platform removes the systemic friction that keeps millions of people outside traditional payment systems, particularly in underserved markets where access to credit cards or established bank accounts remains limited. By accepting PiCoins as the primary medium of exchange, Pi2Go transforms what could be simple convenience into genuine empowerment for users who have been historically excluded from global commerce. For users in developing regions, the ability to book hotel accommodations or connect with international travelers through a cryptocurrency-powered platform represents far more than technological innovation. It symbolizes participation in the global digital economy on equal terms, removing the barriers that traditional financial systems have maintained for decades. Pi2Go becomes not just a service platform, but a gateway to economic inclusion that could reshape how millions of people interact with global commerce. Sustainability remains the recurring challenge that destroys most cryptocurrency platforms, with many suffering from short-term focus, speculative volatility, and unrealistic growth expectations. Pi2Go offers a compelling alternative narrative rooted in measured development, long-term strategic planning, and tangible outputs that create genuine value for users rather than artificial market movements. As Pi Network progresses steadily toward full open mainnet launch, platforms like Pi2Go will likely play pivotal roles in demonstrating sustainable value creation. They represent the infrastructural foundations of the emerging Pi economy, providing tools that allow users not just to mine cryptocurrency, but to spend it meaningfully, interact productively, and build lasting value through practical applications. Through comprehensive travel services, sophisticated social tools, and integrated identity verification systems, Pi2Go demonstrates that sustainable ecosystem growth must be layered and multidimensional. Having a cryptocurrency isn't enough anymore. There must be platforms that empower users, connect communities, and simplify complex processes while maintaining the decentralized principles that make blockchain technology revolutionary. The expansion potential for Pi2Go extends far beyond current travel and accommodation services, with development plans potentially including comprehensive event planning, restaurant booking systems, and integrated mobility solutions. This progression could transform Pi2Go into a fully integrated lifestyle platform powered entirely by Pi Network's infrastructure, creating unprecedented utility for PiCoin holders across every aspect of their daily lives. Pioneers, we are standing at the threshold of the most transformative moment in Pi Network's history. The convergence of US regulatory clarity, Pi Network's strategic compliance positioning, institutional investment readiness, and our massive global pioneer community creates an unprecedented opportunity that may define the future of decentralized finance. If you're not actively mining Pi, the window for easy accumulation is closing rapidly as we approach September and the regulatory framework that could trigger mainstream adoption. Ensure your KYC verification is complete because that's your passport to participate in the regulated Pi ecosystem. Stay connected to official Pi Network announcements, but also make sure you're subscribed to this channel with notifications enabled, because I'll be providing detailed analysis of every regulatory development, every institutional partnership announcement, and every milestone in Pi's journey to full utility and value realization. Absolutely crush that like button if this deep dive into Pi Network's regulatory positioning opened your eyes to the mathematical and economic foundations supporting the 314,159 global consensus value. Subscribe and hit the notification bell because the next few months will bring developments that could reshape your understanding of cryptocurrency's potential for mainstream financial integration. Comment Pi Network to the moon with your country name and show the world the global reach of our pioneer community